On a bright and chilly day in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Bryant-Denny Stadium plays host to the 89th edition of the Iron Bowl, one of college football's greatest rivalries. So much at stake today for the fans, bragging rights for a year in the state of Alabama. For Jalen Milroe and the Alabama Crimson Tide, a must-win to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. And for Peyton Thorne and the Auburn Tigers, trying to earn their third straight win, which would make Auburn bowl eligible. You're watching the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. Auburn winners of 2 straight and 3 out of 4, now 5 and 6. Alabama comes in at 8-3, most losses in a season for the Crimson Tide since 2010. Sean McDonough along with Greg McElroy, delighted to have you with us. We'll be joined in just a moment by Molly McGrath. Greg, neither team has had the season so far it hoped to have, but a win in the Iron Bowl can minimize the pain for sure. In the case of Alabama, they were in control. The path was there for them to make it to the SEC championship game, but they lost last week in Oklahoma, scored only 3 points. They go as Jalen Milroe goes.
Very quarterback-dependent team, and you look at Jalen Milroe at his best against LSU, against Georgia, the way they ran the football with him at the centerpiece of this offense, downfield throws, they're electric. But when he doesn't play well like he did against Oklahoma, this offense can kind of grind down to a halt. So he's going to need to get off to a fast start, erase the performance from last week, 3 turnovers in that performance, and get off and feel good about the passing game and him using his legs in the run game as well.
Hugh Freeze says he wishes the Tigers could start the season over again. They've played their best football down the stretch, and that is particularly true of their quarterback.
And Peyton Thorne has done a great job in the last few games being smart with the football. Got benched at some point earlier in the year because he continued to throw the ball into traffic. Really has cleaned that up. Has also done a good job of featuring his own legs in the run game as well. So they're going to need to run the ball as well to take some of the pressure off the passing game.
It's the first Iron Bowl for Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer. He's with Molly McGrath.
Coach, how does Jalen Milroe bounce back and be his best self today?
Yeah, just do what he's capable of, and then the rest of us has to help him out too. We have to do our part. He just got to lock in on what he does best, make smart decisions, and, he's done it for many games, and so just go back to the basics.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
John.
Kalen DeBoer's Alabama Crimson Tide won the toss and deferred, so Alabama will kick off in front of more than 100,000. Peyton Thorne hoping this is not the last game of his college career. A win and they're bowl eligible. The loss in their season will end at 5 and 7. Jeremiah Cobb, dangerous return man, back for the kickoff from Connor Talty, redshirt freshman from Chicago. Ordinarily a touchback kicker. That is a bit of a shank, it seemed, off to the side, caught on the run and taken out of bounds. Here's Peyton Thorne as we look at today's impact players presented by the Home Depot.
And for Auburn offensively, Jarquez Hunter, their running back, has to get at least 25 touches today in the run game. And Keandre Lambert-Smith, he's been the go-to guy all season long. The transfer from Penn State has been outstanding. Jahad Campbell at linebacker for Alabama having to step up and really play at a high level because of the injury to Deontay Lawson. And then on the outside, you got Damani Jackson, who's going to have plenty of guys in coverage outside.
They spread the field to start the game. Thorne, fifth-year senior, second year at Auburn after 3 at Michigan State. And he slides down. They'll mark him down where he started to slide at the 26-yard line. They were 1-5 in his first 6 starts. 3-1 as the turnovers have come way down. They committed 16 turnovers as a team in their first 7 games, only 4 in the last 4. Jarquez Hunter stood up near the line of scrimmage. Tim Keenan in the middle of that Alabama defensive line.
This Auburn offense has to be great on first and second down to avoid 3rd and longs. Here, 3rd and 4, manageable down and distance for Peyton Thorne.
And they go quickly. It's been a hallmark of Hugh Freeze's offense throughout the years, although they have slowed the pace this year. Thorne out of Naperville, Illinois, outside of Chicago, the son of a coach. Four-man rush. He sidesteps the rush. Got away from L.T. Overton. Now throws it deep and incomplete. In the general direction of Keandre Lambert-Smith. Domani Jackson had the coverage for the Crimson Tide. And it's a 3-and-out for Auburn.
And a good start for Alabama's defense. They looked like they were going to be in pressure right there. They dropped out. Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator, is going to have to give Peyton Thorne a lot of different looks today. Showing pressure and dropping out. Showing dropout, bringing pressure to confuse the quarterback.
Oscar Chapman punts, senior from Adelaide, Australia. Ryan Williams, the freshman, back deep. And Williams goes out of bounds, and good starting field position for Alabama at its own 42, led by Jalen Milroe. We mentioned as he goes, so goes Alabama. Numbers dramatically different. The 8 wins as compared to the 3 losses.
Such a big part of his game is being effective in the run game. He's the leading rusher for the Crimson Tide. He's going to get plenty of opportunities today against a run defense for Auburn that has been really solid all season long.
He rushed for just 7 yards in their loss last week at Oklahoma on 15 carries. Jam Miller, part of a 1-2 punch at running back with Justice Haynes. They've combined now for just under 1,000 yards for the year. And Miller got 5 on his first carry.
Like we referenced, Sean, very quarterback dependent. Distributing the ball to Miller, to Justice Haynes, the running back, is going to be a high priority today.
Miller in trouble and swung down for a loss by Keldrick Falk, the outstanding defensive end, a sophomore from Highland Home, Alabama.
And coming all the way across the formation, he starts over the right tackle, Pritchett, who has had his hands full the last couple weeks. That's a guy that we're going to be watching all game long. Is that right tackle matchup with Keldrick Falk? Very disruptive in the backfield.
10 tackles for a loss for Falk. 3rd down and 8. 3 receivers to Milroe's right. He steps up and throws. And Josh Cuevas lunged for the line to gain. It looks like he has the first down. He does by about the nose of the football, and Alabama lines up quickly.
Just a good job by Jalen Milroe going through the progression, getting to his check down, and finding a first down.
Miller near the 45-yard line. Eugene Asante made the tackle. And they're going quickly again. Just 3 points at Oklahoma last week. Here comes a blitz, and Milroe got dumped as he threw. Sylvester Smith coming from his star position on the blitz.
Another very aggressive call by DJ Durkin on 2nd down to make it 3rd and long for Jalen Milroe. But in plus territory, Jalen Milroe's legs have been very effective. So DJ Durkin's defense going to have to be really mindful of quarterback run. They'll always have a quarterback spy on Milroe.
Durkin in his first year as the defense coordinator at Auburn. Over the middle, caught. Ryan Williams is open in the center of the field, and the ball came out. The officials conferring it is Auburn football. Eugene Asante came up with the football.
And it looks like as Williams is going to the ground, it almost looks like Harris's right arm punches up as he's tackling Williams, and watch the ball come out.
Was he down is the question.
Let's take a look.
I think it's sliding out right before his backside hit the ground.
And watch the right leg, and when the ball starts to come free. The ball is out now. Is he down at that point? The right leg is what they'd be looking at there. Man, it doesn't look like there's enough video evidence to potentially overturn it.
Ken Switzer is the replay official. Kalen DeBoer's out on the field. He wants to know if they're taking a look at it. Of course they are. They always do.
The ruling on the field is a catch, fumble, and recovered by the defense. The previous play is under video review.
Daniel Gautreaux is the referee, leading our Southeastern Conference crew. Timeout. While we were away, Daniel Gautreaux, the referee, announced that the play stands as called. Not conclusive evidence to overturn it. It is the first career lost fumble for Ryan Williams. And the first turnover of this Iron Bowl. Alabama came in best in the SEC in turnover margin at +11. Auburn was worst at -11. But the Tigers get the first takeaway of the day. Peyton Thorne elected to keep it. Good decision. And he scurries out of bounds with a first down, gain of just more than 10. He hurt Alabama with his running ability last year.
And a good job of Peyton Thorne reading Bray Hubbard, the safety, on the edge. Bray gets a little too caught up on the inside. Thorne gets to the edge, like you referenced, Sean, did hurt Alabama from time to time last year.
He ran for 85 yards if you don't include the sack yardage. Jarquez Hunter, a tough run, bouncing off Alabama would-be tacklers. And he has a first down in Crimson Tide territory after a 19-yard gain to the 44.
And Jarquez Hunter is so difficult to bring down. Averages over 4 yards a carry after contact. That's top 10 in college football. Shows it off right there.
Many coaches in this conference believe he's the best running back in the SEC. He carries again, went over 1,000 yards for the season in their 4 overtime win at home last week against Texas A&M. Since late October, he's averaged 140 per game, including his career high 278 against Kentucky, 4th most in a game in Auburn history.
Jarquez Hunter needs to get at least 25 touches today. Has not been featured enough in the run game because of some of the RPO decisions that Peyton Thorne has made, so he's got to hand the ball off.
Well, they've also been prolific in the passing game the last couple of weeks. Thorne forced back and throws it away. In fact, in the last 2 games, both of them wins out of conference against Louisiana Monroe. And then the win for Hugh Freeze last week, his first against a ranked opponent in 2 years at Auburn. They had a 100-yard rusher in Hunter and 2 100-yard receivers in each of those games, Keandre Lambert-Smith and Cam Coleman. First time that's ever happened in back-to-back games in Auburn history. A 100-yard rusher and 2 100-yard receivers. Third down and 8. They're not in field goal range. Thorne, man wide open, first down. Rivaldo Fairweather, the tight end, down to the Bama 22. 20 yards for Auburn.
A great job there by Peyton Thorne, evading the rush, moving to his left, keeping his eyes downfield and finding Fairweather for a nice conversion.
Thorne keeps, throws out wide for Malcolm Simmons, the true freshman from Montgomery, Alabama. No gain on the play. Simmons, part of a talented freshman class. They had one of the best recruiting classes in the country in this class of 2024, and they have another top 5 coming for Coach Freeze and his staff next year.
Very young roster that has had some growing pains this year, but is really talented at several positions.
Particularly at wide receiver, which was not a strength of their team last year. And Fairweather, the tight end, was their leading receiver. Thorne kept it and got dumped by Quay Russaw. Alabama's defense playing without Deontay Lawson today, the outstanding linebacker who had surgery for a lower leg injury, suffered last week in the loss at Oklahoma.
That really elevates the importance of Justin Jefferson, number 15, and Jahad Campbell. Those 2 guys replacing an All-American contender in Lawson's a really tall task. To here on third down, it should be about the defensive front, the pass rush to put some pressure on Peyton Thorne in 3rd and long.
Here comes an Alabama blitz, and the pass caught by Fairweather and then knocked away. Incomplete on a big hit by Malachi Moore, playing in his 64th career game. 5th-year senior, trying to win the Iron Bowl for the 5th year in a row. No player has ever been on the winning side in an Iron Bowl in 5 straight years. He and some of his teammates a chance to do that today.
And a terrific leader, too, that has helped usher in this new era for Kalen DeBoer and staff.
There's Ian Vachon, who's one of the great stories of this season for Auburn. A walk-on who is their kicker now for the 3rd game in a row. They had a lot of kicking problems early. So Vachon took over against Louisiana Monroe. He's made 4 out of 5. This is from 39, and it is no good. James Smith puts some pressure on Vachon. Tough to tell if he got a hand on it, but it was a wounded duck. No score nearly midway through the 1st quarter. Miracle win for the Tide. 27-24. Jalen Milroe said he was happy that Auburn basically didn't rush anybody. It looked like they rushed 2. Gave them all day to find somebody. Here's C.J. Dupree, the Auburn tight end, across the 40 to the 41. Eugene Asante made the tackle, a pickup of 20.
Alabama using a little tempo, trying to get this offense to life after last week's performance.
Well blocked, deep throw, and it's over the head of Jeremy Bernard, their 2nd leading receiver, with Kayan Lee in coverage. So the field goal drama continues for Auburn. They had a great kicker last year. Alex McPherson didn't miss a field goal all year, but he has been suffering through a serious gastrointestinal illness. They tried Towns Magoo, a freshman. He struggled. So Vachon got the call, and Hugh Freeze coaching him up after the miss. And it's interesting, Greg, as we talked to Hugh during the week as Jam Miller carries for no gain. He said ordinarily he didn't say anything to the kickers. But last week in the big win against A&M, Vachon had kind of an ugly miss on his first attempt. Hugh Freeze said, hey, that's the worst swing I've ever seen you take. You'll do better next time. He made 2 big field goals in the win, including one in the final seconds of regulation to send it to overtime, another one in the overtime. He was at Birmingham Southern last year. They shut down the university. He was a roofer over the summer, thought his college kicking was over. Jalen Milroe pulls it down. The ball's out as Keldrick Falk stuck an arm in, and Bama got it back. Recovered at the 42-yard line by the center, Parker Brailsford. And there is a flag.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 57 was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
It's Elijah Pritchett, the right tackle, who has struggled for a lot of the year. And penalties have been an issue throughout the season as well for Alabama.
And you know, DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator, has been telling his defensive line all week long, hey, you cannot be too aggressive in your pass rush. This time, Keldrick Falk, he sees Jalen Milroe take off. He recovers and strips the ball. Great play.
James Burnham, terrific punt. And Malcolm Simmons makes a fair catch inside the 10. 51-yard punt by Burnham, punting in his 54th straight game for the Tide. A&M moved to the SEC. The winner of that one goes on to take Georgia in the Southeastern Conference Championship game next weekend in Atlanta. No score here. Auburn from inside its own 10, and Peyton Thorne throws incomplete for Cam Coleman, with Damani Jackson, the USC transfer, in coverage.
That'll be a matchup that Alabama has to win today. Damani Jackson's a tough draw, especially the way Cam Coleman has played these last few weeks. At 6'3", he's very effective in the jump ball situation. Damani Jackson very, very physical. He's going to have to match up and neutralize that advantage.
Coleman's a true freshman, one of the top recruits in the country coming into college football this year. He has really come on lately. They've thrown out wide to him. He was plagued by some drops earlier in the year. Hugh Freeze said he's still learning how to run routes. For the last couple of weeks, he's been terrific. Back-to-back 100-yard games. And has doubled his catch total for the year. 3rd down and 8. Thorne's 3 out of 7 for 23 yards. 23 years old, a graduate of Michigan State, where he was a 2-time captain. He's in his 2nd year as the captain of the Auburn Tigers. One of them throws deep down the middle, double coverage, and broken up by Malachi Moore. He's trying to get it to Malcolm Simmons. And it'll be another 3 and out for the Auburn Tigers.
So far, Peyton Thorne and Auburn, they've been in multiple 3rd and long situations, and coming in to this game, they've been one of the worst in the country on 3rd and 7 or more. They're 97th in college football in conversion percentage when they get long down and distance. They have to be better on 1st and 2nd down moving forward because they can't make a living like that.
Oscar Chapman, uncharacteristically a couple of shanks last week against A&M. And this one's out of bounds just across midfield. They'll mark it at the 48-yard line. Here's Kevin Nagandi. Where they'll take on SMU. Clemson would go to the ACC championship game with a Miami loss. Jam Miller delivers a stiff arm and then gets knocked out of bounds with a 1st down at the 38-yard line of the Tigers. The 14-yard run. Austin Keys delivered the hit, but a nice run by Jam Miller.
That's now 5 carries for Jam Miller here in the early going. A guy that averages only 9-10 carries a game, so featuring him early takes some pressure off Milroe in the passing attack.
Milroe pump fake. Sends it out wide to Robbie Oots. He stayed on his feet, got an extra couple of yards. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Greg has said that this Alabama team goes as quarterback Jalen Milroe goes, and after his fumble, Kalen DeBoer spent some time looking into his quarterback's eyes, telling him to calm down and move on, and DeBoer stressed the importance of getting momentum on offense with them explosive pass plays down the field. He was very concerned with the confidence of his quarterback.
Auburn blitzed off the corner. It wasn't a factor as Miller powers his way to the 30-yard line. Isaiah Riggs goes tackle for Auburn, made the tackle, transfer from Texas A&M.
These are the 3rd down and distances that Alabama needs to continue to stay in, because in 3rd down, 2, 3, 4, quarterback run is always something you can lean on, and Milroe's been the guy that they lean on the most here in short yardage running the football.
Nick Sheridan is the offensive coordinator. 4 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter. Milroe! 1st down inside the 20. He followed. Jam Miller was a lead blocker, and it's a pickup of 11.
And a really nice job, too. Jam Miller, they fake the handoff, and then he becomes basically the fullback and goes and gets a piece of the end man on the line of scrimmage. Milroe hitting it up inside. He really hit that hole harder and more vertical than he did at any point last week. So encouraging to see how aggressive he approached that 3rd down.
The fake to Jeremy Bernard. Milroe with some room outside. Milroe, touchdown! His parents, Quentin and Lola, celebrating their son's 18th rushing touchdown of this season, adding to his Alabama record for a quarterback.
And misdirection so difficult to defend. You have so much flow going this way, and you have blockers coming back to the right. That's exactly where Jalen Milroe goes. And I think when you talk to most coaches and they say watching Jalen Milroe at field, he's the fastest quarterback they've seen since Michael Vick. And that time, Auburn underestimates the speed. He gets to the edge and scores the first touchdown of the game.
Graham Nicholson added the extra point. Well, as Milroe goes, so goes the Tide. Hugh Freeze, it's the first thing he said when talking about this matchup.
Just so fast. It's so difficult to contain. If he gets to the outside, there's very few that can bring him down unless they have a really favorable angle. So an excellent response there. Jalen's family looks on, loving what they've seen on the start from their son and the quarterback of the Tide.
Three losses, he has not been a factor at all in the run game. Just 28 yards total at Vandy, at Tennessee, and last week at Oklahoma. In the wins, nearly 6 yards per carry, including the tremendous game at LSU when he rushed for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns. Connor Talty kicks off. Jeremiah Cobb is back deep. Touchback will bring it to the 25. The Taco Bell Live Más student section saw a lot of students in the airport yesterday coming back from their Thanksgiving vacation to be here for the game today. All season long, student sections across the country competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. It's a little chilly today. Temperature right around 50 degrees. Cold around a lot of the country. Out of the pistol, Jarquez Hunter, nifty cut to his right. Somebody lost a mouth guard on that collision. And Hunter out to the 46 with a run of 21 yards. He ran into Devontae Smith. Auburn goes very quickly. Play action pass for Thorne. DeAndre Lambert-Smith, the Penn State transfer, has had a terrific year for Auburn as a 9-yard completion.
Here's second and short. This would be a spot where Auburn sometimes they'll go heavy play action, throw a shot, knowing they can come back on 3rd and 1 and get it.
Jarquez Hunter ran into Jihad Campbell, the leading tackler for the year for Alabama, junior from New Jersey. He's one of the top linebackers in the country. Mel Kiper Jr. has him number 15 overall on his big board, and the second best inside linebacker in the country behind Jalen Walker.
He's been a terrific player for the Tide for several years now, but he's transitioned now off the ball full time. Has to wear a lot of responsibility, but has answered the call nicely in this new defensive system.
Damari Alston is the running back, and they're throwing a screen to him. Great call, well executed. Alston, with a big Iron Bowl last year, banged his way down to the 25 with a gain of 15.
Misdirection has given Alabama fits all season long, and Auburn utilizing it nicely there on the screen.
Hugh Freeze involved in the play calling. DeAndre Lambert-Smith inside the 20. It's a collaborative effort, but for the most part, Hugh calls the plays, with input from Derek Nix, the offensive coordinator, and from Kent Austin, the quarterback's coach.
This has been the part of the field that has been a challenge for Hugh Freeze. They are 113th in the country in red zone touchdown efficiency, the worst red zone team offensively in the SEC. So these yards are hard to come by, and they've struggled to get them down here.
Flag down. They stop it.
False start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Dylan Wade, the left tackle, transfer from Tulsa. took over at left tackle. That was a problem spot early in the year. He's the third different left tackle to start for Auburn this year.
And since he's moved out to left tackle, it's really solidified things. They're not a top group in the SEC or in the country by any means, but they're not a huge liability like they were in some of the other left tackle combinations that they've used. So Wade's really stabilized that side of the line.
Swing pass and Simmons, and it's incomplete. Third down and 8. They are in field goal range. Well, the first one was a bit ugly from Ian Vachon. It did not look like James Smith, who went high in the air, got a piece of that field goal attempt.
Another third and long for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. They have got to avoid this down and distance. They struggle in long yardage situations, but the guy they target most of the time is number 13, Rivaldo Fairweather. He caught one earlier, and against man coverage potentially, he'd be who I'd be looking at.
Quick hitter, Simmons spinning around. He's down short of the first down by about 4 yards. So a decision to make for Hugh Freeze. Jamarian Latham made the tackle, and he's already made the decision. The offense is staying on the field. He can think about it longer if he wants, because they don't have to snap it again here in the first quarter.
Let's get up there and see if he can draw Alabama offside with a hard count.
Analytics say to go for it. They're going to let the quarter end. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching Rivalry Week, presented by Fairfield by Marriott.
Coach, how do you convert on fourth down here?
Get the right call and protection. Obviously we're moving the football. We should have 3 points, and we got to score touchdowns when we get down here, though. So we need to convert this for sure.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
They have moved it. They've outgained Alabama 121 to 104. This will be the 8th play of this drive. 4th down and 4 from the Bama 19. Jarquez Hunter, the running back, on the right hip of Thorne, who looks to the sideline for help. He has 3 wide receivers to his right, and Coleman tight to the left. Apparently single coverage from Damani Jackson. Thorne on 4th down. There's a flag down. He lost it. Incomplete.
Holding. Offense number 72. The penalty is declined. First down, Alabama.
Xavion Miller, the right tackle. You saw Hugh Freeze bend over as if he was in pain. I think that, Greg, the message there is probably, hey, it's 4th down. Try to throw it to somebody. Don't just throw it away.
100%, or at least threaten the line of scrimmage. Now, you had a defender that was running at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour, so those decisions happen quickly, but Peyton Thorne's played a lot of football. Understanding down and distance situational awareness. Give your guy a chance on 4th down. It's intercepted. Who cares? You play the field position game.
48th career start for Peyton Thorne between Michigan State and Auburn. Justice Haynes driven back after he reached the 25-yard line. DeMarcus Riddick made the tackle. True freshman playing his first Iron Bowl. He made news during the week. Had a lot to say. He said he is not going to lose at any time in the Iron Bowl. He said Ryan Williams is not a big-time player. And he also said Jalen Milroe isn't faster than me, so he's not going to get out of the box today. That has proven already not to be true, as Milroe has scored the touchdown. Justice Haynes driven back by Austin Keys. Molly?
Malachi Moore took some issue with Riddick's comments, saying to know that they feel confident enough to go out and publicly say that in the first media interviews of the week. Let us know what they think of us. It is disrespectful. We're taking it personally, and we're going to dominate them every play. They don't want this to be a back and forth game. They want to make a statement in this one, especially because of those comments, guys.
Riddick's had a nice freshman year. There was movement along the line of scrimmage. We don't see a flag. Now we do. And the catch is made by Jeremy Bernard. There is a flag now, but it did look like Auburn was offside, and that will likely be a 21-yard completion.
Offsides. Defense, number 24. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Teron Crawford, who's played more in recent weeks, transfer from Arkansas State.
And a great job by Parker Brailsford, the center, holding it just a little bit after Jalen Milroe caught his hands, not immediate. Milroe knows he has a free play, takes a shot downfield and hits it for a really nice throw.
Play action pass. Milroe given plenty of time. Throwing deep for Williams, and he dropped it. It would have been a touchdown with Jay Crawford, Williams' fellow true freshman in coverage for Auburn.
And what a route by Williams. He gets behind the defense. He's got plenty of room. It's a perfect throw by Jalen Milroe. But the outstanding freshman just can't reel it in. He's had drop issues the last few weeks. Had a couple drops last week. Had a couple drops against Tennessee. And Milroe knows one got away right there on the perfect throw.
Milroe short this time and over the head of Jam Miller. Well, as Milroe goes, so goes Alabama. And so far, he's been terrific. That should have been a 55-yard touchdown. And he's already rushed for 31 yards on just 3 carries, including the only touchdown of the game.
But you can't allow the drop to have an impact on your performance on the next play. And it felt like there, Jalen Milroe in frustration missed high and didn't really go through his mechanics.
3rd and 10. They're 3 out of 5 on 3rd down. Milroe, Bernard runs into the catch. Beautiful throw by Jalen Milroe, the redshirt junior from Katy, Texas. A 23-yard completion.
This is a part of his game that has developed so nicely this year. The intermediate passing attack, especially from the far hash. And on 3rd and long, that is a perfectly thrown football in the direction of Jeremy Bernard. Terrific conversion.
Timeout for an injured Auburn player. 7-0 Bama, tied on the move again. And their chances to make the college football playoff slim with a win 20% for Kalen DeBoer. And the Tide, with loss, they're definitely out. But as he said, this is a bunch last year that wound up in the 14 playoff, which was a surprise to many when they upset Georgia to win the Southeastern Conference Championship and knocked the Dogs out of the 14 field. 1st and 10. It's a reverse, and Ryan Williams is smothered for a loss back at the 37-yard line by Eugene Asante.
Eugene Asante is such a great player, so aware early in his career, played with a lot of energy. The guy was just playing with his hair on fire all the time. Now he has a great feel, great spatial awareness, going to be playing in the Senior Bowl, and will have a nice career at the next level. Really has grown and developed into an outstanding player.
Milroe looked left, then pulled it down, and he got chopped down at the 35-yard line. A 2-yard gain. Jalen McLeod made the tackle. One of their best defensive players, transfer from Appalachian State. So it's 3rd down and 13, and they're on the fringe of field goal range for Graham Nicholson.
An Auburn team that likes to really drop back in coverage here and play 2-man. Let's see if they decide to continue to drop out and play coverage, keep it in front of them.
Play clock down to 2. Milroe down the middle and intercepted over the head of Jeremy Bernard and picked off by Caleb Wooden. His first interception of the season.
And it feels like Jalen Milroe just felt that presence against his right guard, Gio Vandermark. That's Keldrick Falk applying the pressure. He had the slide. Didn't like it at first. Recoiled, threw it again, and misses high, where Wooden's waiting there and behind the intended receiver and reels it in for an interception. It's a good effort by Jalen Milroe, but just an inaccurate throw that leads to Alabama's second turnover.
Wooden's a junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia. His first pick of the year, second of his career. He had one in the Music City Bowl last year against Maryland. From their own 9, Jarquez Hunter squirts out to the 12. Tim Smith made the tackle. So that's 2 takeaways now for Auburn. Worst plus-minus team in the Southeastern Conference against the best in Alabama, but the Tigers are +2 today.
They have to be better, though, on first and second down to avoid third and long. So far, they can't sustain drive. Just 1 for 5 on third down. So need to make this third down more manageable here for Peyton Thorne.
Hunter. To the 15-yard line. This will match their shortest third down distance to go of the day. I mentioned they're 1 for 5. 4 of the 5 have been 8 yards or more for Hugh Freeze. Hard to find the right play to call in that instance.
But here in third down 2 to 3, you can just hand it to your best player, Jarquez Hunter. And so far, he's carried it 5 times on third and 2 to 3. He's converted 4 of 5. So don't be afraid to hand it to your outstanding back, but he'll motion out.
Thorpe fires. Cam Coleman, first down, out to the 23-yard line for a gain of 7. Coleman, Ryan Williams of Alabama, and Jeremiah Smith now at Ohio State, the top 3 wide receivers coming out of high school into college football this year, and they have all been terrific. Here's Keandre Lambert-Smith. First down across the 40-yard line, where he was hit by Jahad Campbell. But that's 18 more for Auburn.
Keandre Lambert-Smith's been so great for this Auburn team all year long. You knew they were going to be young. They had to go to the portal, add a guy that had played before but had never really been that go-to guy. He developed into that here at Auburn and has really brought the youngsters around him up to his level. You're really seeing the light go on for Cam Coleman and company down the stretch as a result.
Although Fairweather, the tight end, was the motion man. Thorne on target to Malcolm Simmons. He can run. He got hit out of bounds, and they'll tack 15 on from the 28 where he went out. A late hit by Malachi Moore. 31 yards on the play, 15 more.
Play. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Defense number 13. The penalty will be enforced. Back the distance to the goal to the end of the run. First down.
Pretty clear there is Malachi Moore. I think he probably thinks he's staying in bounds, but either way, Simmons is out of the field of play when Malachi Moore initiates the contact. It was pretty bang-bang. You got to be careful, though, as you approach the sideline, especially the opposing sideline, if you're Malachi Moore. So bang-bang play that Bama fans are frustrated with, but it's understandable why they got the call.
Well, the crowd's booing. Malachi Moore engaged Simmons while he was still inbounds. Thorne has a receiver open. He missed him. Over the head of Keandre Lambert-Smith. Let's bring in Bill Lamagnier, our rules expert, and get your opinion, Bill, about this.
Well, initially on the first look, it looked like it had to be out of bounds. But when we look at it again, he's still got a foot inbounds. The other foot has not stepped out of bounds yet. It looks bad, but it's not a foul.
All right, Bill, thank you. The crowd agrees with you. Second and 10. Auburn's moved the ball. They're up to 184 total yards. There was a flinch along the offensive line.
Full start. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty remains second down.
Braden Joyner, the redshirt freshman left guard from Anniston, Alabama, who became a starter midseason.
Yet again inside the red zone, and Auburn makes a mistake, backs themselves up. For Peyton Thorne, they have to be better on this part of the field.
The blitz. Thorne flush to his right and throws it away. Earlier in the year, he was the poster boy for their turnover troubles. It actually cost him the starting job briefly. He was replaced as the starter against New Mexico and Arkansas in games 3 and 4. But when Hank Brown had difficulty, Thorne returned and has played well down the stretch. Coming off a 301-yard passing game against Texas A&M.
They need to hurry up. I mean, they're under 10 on the play clock here. And
going to use a timeout. The 3rd and 15 upcoming. 8:35 to go till halftime. 7-0 Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Auburn down 7-0 here. Facing 3rd and 15 at the Alabama 19. Third time in the red zone. No points yet. A missed field goal and a stoppage on a 4th and 4.
Alabama showing blitz here. Peyton Thorne is checked multiple times in this all-out pressure look from the tie. Let's see if they get it out of his hands quickly.
Jarquez Hunter, the running back. It's floated to Hunter, and he got separated from the ball on a huge hit by Malachi Moore.
It's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
And just a great job by Malachi Moore. He sees it all the way. They go with a little bluff route. Alabama did the exact same route against Tennessee earlier in the season. And Malachi Moore sniffs it out. He's clearly seen his own offense run it multiple times. He makes the play, dislodges the football, and forces the field goal from Auburn.
So it's Ian Vachon, who missed earlier from 39. This is from 37. Rallied from a poor attempt last week against Texas A&M, and he does it again here today. Line drive kick to get Auburn on the board. Only Notre Dame has had a worse field goal percentage as a team than Hugh Freeze's Auburn Tigers this year. Sean has improved that percentage in recent weeks.
He has transitioned beautifully. He thought it was going to be a runaway to Jaden Daniels for the Rookie of the Year, but with how Bo Nix has played these last few weeks, I think it's going to be a much more difficult argument at the end of the season.
Kendrick Law back deep for the kickoff from Towns Magoo, the true freshman from Auburn, Alabama. One of the top high school kickers in the country. Last year, they think he has a bright future, but he had his difficulties, so Vachon has taken over. Kendrick Law down at the 25-yard line. Here's Kevin. No surprise that's a high-scoring game. Two of the most prolific passers in the country this year, and Kyle McCord and Cam Ward. Jalen Milroe straight ahead for 3 yards. Teron Crawford made the tackle. They mentioned Jalen Milroe's a redshirt junior. He could come back. He's highly touted. Mel Kiper has him rated the 3rd best quarterback in next year's draft, should he choose to enter it, behind Shedeur Sanders of Colorado and the aforementioned Cam Ward of Miami. We asked Jalen Milroe if this was his last year of college football the other day. Just laughed. And he escapes. And that's one of the reasons he is so highly regarded. Among those 3 top quarterbacks on Mel's board, by far the best dual threat.
And the right tackle, Elijah Pritchard, with his hands full again, but somehow Milroe's able to escape and turn what would have been a sack for many into a positive game.
Teron Crawford whiffed on the chance for the sack. Jam Miller tackled by the freshman defensive back Caleb Harris.
Those are the things that Jalen Milroe is just so difficult to defend. I mean, you have a perfect play called, you win the snap, and somehow he does the miraculous and makes a play out of it.
Short throw, Robbie Oots, the senior from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Bama first down into Auburn territory at the 49, a gain of 10.
So far, the tight ends have been a big part of this game plan for the offensive coordinator, Nick Sheridan. C.J. Dupree's got a target. Oots has 2 targets. Josh Cuevas has a target already. And Sheridan, he coaches that position group, so he's proud of that group, trying to feature those guys against these linebackers early.
Jan Miller, nifty footwork. All that dancing got him just 2. Caleb Harris dropped him. Freshman from Bessemer, Alabama, between here and Birmingham, which is a little less than an hour drive away. Tuscaloosa, southwest of Birmingham. Auburn blitzes. Well defended. Here's another throw to a tight end. Josh Cuevas. First down inside the 30. 20 more for Alabama.
And a really nice job. This is another play where they feature the tight end. He pretends like he's going to block for a half second and then takes off vertical. Auburn drops him in coverage, and it turns into another big play for Cuevas.
5 of Milroe's 8 completions to tight ends. They don't generally feature the tight end. But it's working today. Good protection again, and that ball is incomplete. Another throw for a tight end for C.J. Dupree. But Jaron Thompson, the Texas transfer, in coverage for the Tigers.
And I think the reason why they continue to go after these tight ends, and even though they haven't been used often, who's pretty well defended there by Jaron Thompson, is it looked like Dupree was going to have it for a second and it gets knocked out at the last second. The reason why they're featuring tight ends is because Auburn, not a very tall defense. A lot of defenders that are 6'1" or shorter, so trying to feature your 6'5" tight ends makes a lot of sense.
Like Dupree was trying to catch it with one hand. Just as Haynes to the 22-yard line. Jalen McLeod made the tackle. 5 yards on the run. 3rd down and 5 as we're under 5 minutes to go in the half.
3rd down and medium. DJ Durkin. This is the one part where they will bring a little bit of pressure. They're not afraid to blitz the quarterback, but against a quarterback like Jalen Milroe that can beat you with his legs, might be a little more passive. So let's see if they play coverage to bring pressure here.
Milroe lined up in the pistol, looking to the sideline for help. Now to the shotgun with a play clock at 1. Timeout, Alabama. With 4:16 to go in the first half. The Crimson Tide leading 7-3. You're watching the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. It's rushing and the game's only touchdown. Engineering this drive, 9th play. They started at their own 25. Jeremy Bernard, first down. And finally swung down near the 6-yard line by Jay Crawford. 1st and goal, Crimson Tide.
I'm not really sure what DJ Durkin's defense was thinking. They're playing way too soft, allowing an easy catch and run for the conversion. Watch for quarterback run here, though. That's where they like to use Jalen Milroe.
Marked it back at the 7, just as Haynes got 1. Both sides substituting. Kalen DeBoer, been a rough year. Started out so well after the big win against Georgia. 3 losses, the most in a season for Alabama since 2010. He is looking for his 9th win of the year. Here's that design run for Milroe. And he's down very close to the goal line. The ball is on the ground. They're marking Milroe down at the 1. By the way, if they do win 9, it'd be the most for a first-year Alabama head coach since Frank Howard won 9 back in 1931. Milroe goes under center. Milroe keeps. Touchdown! His second of the day. His 19th of the season. 32nd of his career. Both are Alabama quarterback records. Graham Nicholson for the extra point with James Burnip the holder. And it's 14-3.
Quarterback sneak, very difficult to defend when your left guard's 325 and your left tackle's 360. Jalen Milroe knows where that surge is going to be. He falls to his left, and what an answering drive from the Crimson Tide. 12 plays, 75 yards. Nick Sheridan, the offensive coordinator, mixing run pass beautifully en route to Jalen's second rushing touchdown. Just a terrific response.
Trent Richardson 21 rushing scores in 2011. When he's good, they win, and he's been very good today. Connor Talty kicks off. Jeremiah Cobb back deep. And Cobb picked up the bouncing kickoff and got collared at the 17-yard line. Time for our player check-in presented by Allstate.
And it's Jalen Milroe. They go as his legs go, and it started early on a 3rd and short. They follows Jam Miller right through the hole for a really nice gain. A couple plays later, full misdirection. A lot of right to left movement. They pull the left guard and the left tackle around to the right. Milroe follows them, and he gets to the edge for the game's first touchdown. And then a little bit later, just a miraculous play. I mean, you think he's bottled up, you think he's sacked, somehow escapes and picks up another first down. So far, he's been terrific running the football. 8 carries, 52 yards, and a couple touchdowns.
Peyton Thorne over the head of Keandre Lambert-Smith, who was surrounded by Alabama defenders. 2:33 to go, 2 timeouts for Auburn. Thorne now just 10 out of 21 passing for 114.
He needs to just continue to be patient. He's played a pretty smart football game outside of a throwaway on 4th down earlier in the game. But just because it's a 2-score deficit now, you can't start forcing it into coverage like you did right there. Lucky he missed, or else that could have been picked.
Luke Deal the catch. He's hit immediately by Bray Hubbard. Luke Deal playing in his 65th career game for Auburn. That is the school record. He got 3 on the catch. They'll take it to the 2-minute warning. 2-minute timeout. With Alabama leading 14-3. Games next weekend. Ohio State losing to Michigan in a stunner earlier today. 2 minutes to go, first half. Alabama leading 14-3. 3rd down and 7. They're 2 out of 7 on 3rd down with an average to go of 8 yards. Thorne in trouble, had to throw it away as he was pressured by Jamarian Lathan.
That's another 3rd and long where Alabama gets off the field. They bring corner pressure this time, and Peyton Thorne never really sees it. Now his running back, Jarquez Hunter, does, but Peyton Thorne drifts right into the pressure, which accelerates how quickly he has to go through his process and result throws it away. But Auburn now, that's their 6th 3rd and long. They have to be better on 1st and 2nd down.
Good punt by Oscar Chapman. No fair catch from Ryan Williams, and he got a couple of yards on the return of a 44-yard punt. All right, gentlemen, thank you. Lots of important scores and highlights coming up on the halftime report. Miami leading Syracuse 21-14 at the half up in central New York.
Previous play is under video review. You take a look at a potential fair catch signal.
You know, the Auburn sideline was letting the officials hear it. Ryan Williams was basically right in front of them when he made the catch. Well, kind of half-hearted. So let's bring in Bill Lamagnier for what constitutes a fair catch signal. Maybe he was just waving hello to a friend in the crowd, Bill.
I don't have that as a fair catch signal. The other part of it, too, is I'm not sure why it's being reviewed. It's a difference of 1 yard. Does it have an immediate effect on the play? So I just left this alone.
I think Bill Lamagnier should be the commissioner of college football. In charge of the whole
common sense right there. Yep. 1 yard in a 2-minute situation, probably not the end of the world, not worth wasting the time.
After video review, the returner gave a fair catch signal.
Sort of.
The ball be placed at the 35-yard line.
Well, Bill, maybe you can instruct us. What constitutes a fair catch signal?
Well, that right hand could deceive a defender coming down the way he took and flipped it across. So it doesn't necessarily have to be up over your head, but I'm sure that's what they're ruling, that he that threw off the defender coming
right.
down.
And why would he be doing that, even though it wasn't up over his head? It was kind of a half-hearted wave, but you know, it's sort of resembled a fair catch signal.
I would deem it an invalid fair catch.
Yes, look out! Milroe hit, the ball's out, and Auburn has its 3rd takeaway of the game. Jalen McLeod knocked the ball out, and Philip Bleedy recovered it.
And just working right against Caden Proctor. Milroe never sees him. Proctor misses the initial engagement, and that right arm just swatting down on Jalen Milroe's throwing arm, just one hand on the football. You cannot play that any better if you're McLeod, swatting at it and dislodging the football. Just a tremendous play there by Auburn's defensive lineman.
As Kevin, Booger, and Dan were saying in the studio, Auburn needs to capitalize on these chances. 3rd takeaway, they're +3 for the game. And they have it at the 34 with plenty of time, 1:40 and 2 timeouts. Thorne, quick pop. Malcolm Simmons in trouble and taken out of bounds for a loss by Xavier Brown, the true freshman out of Santa Ana, California, played in that powerhouse modern day high school football program. Loss of 2, likely not in field goal range, although Vachon does have a strong leg. 4 receivers to the left. Thorne has a lot of running room. There's a flag down behind the play as he scampers out of bounds at the 32. Alabama sideline convinced it's a hold against Auburn.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense.
Whoa.
Number 50. 15-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. First down.
Wow. And they would be wrong. It's Tim Smith, the graduate student, playing in his 64th career game for Alabama, guilty of the penalty.
And his right hand up into the face mask of Too Tall Miller, and it's a good call by the official. Didn't feel like he ever tried to bring it back down. It was pretty obvious as the referee threw it and made the call.
So they're in the red zone again.
This has been the part of the field, though, that's been a challenge for Peyton Thorne. You got plenty of time. You can still run the football with 90 seconds left. So if you like the count defensively, hand it off to your best player, Jarquez Hunter.
He hasn't carried in a while, just 7 carries for the game. He gets it here. Got 2 before he got repelled back, led by Malachi Moore in a very physical first half.
Now if you're Alabama's defense, watch for the heavy play action. Auburn goes full sell on the play action, throws it behind your head.
Design roll for Thorne, and then a throwback to Fairweather with a lot of running room. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 2. Great call by Hugh Freeze and his staff. And beautifully executed. They had Dylan Wade, the left tackle, out there leading the way.
Perfect play call. Just misdirection that has given Alabama fits all season long. They hit it again with the screen. And they have 1st and 10 inside the 5, and now they bring their big bodies in.
Tate Johnson, who wears number 42, is ordinarily an offensive lineman. He switches numbers. Tacked onto the right end of the line. Jarquez Hunter, the running back, on 1st and goal, under a minute to go in the half. Auburn trying to make it a 1-score game. The pitch to Hunter. And he's dropped for a loss by Quay Rousseau.
Auburn. It is their second. It will be 30 seconds.
And that leaves Auburn with 1 with 52 seconds to go. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy entertaining Iron Bowl. I think if you're an Auburn fan watching this right now, you're a little frustrated, but the mood could change if they can find a way to punch one in here.
Yeah, I mean, you really look at both sides. I mean, missed opportunities for Alabama and for Auburn. Auburn, when they've gotten into the red zone, drives have stalled. They've gone backwards a couple times when they've gotten in the red zone. They missed a field goal. And Alabama with a couple of pivotal drops that would have been touchdowns. So really the first 30 minutes has been a kind of a story of who's made the biggest mistake.
Hugh Freeze, Peyton Thorne trying to get bowl eligible. They had a 6-6 regular season last year after the excruciating loss in the Iron Bowl. Then lost to Maryland in the Music City Bowl. Trying to get to 6-6. Peyton Thorne wants to play in one more game. Design run for him. He lunged for the goal line. Didn't quite get there. L.T. Overton stopped him. And now the clock is running. They do have a timeout.
You would think if they're going this quickly, it might just be the same play from Peyton Thorne.
And they gave it to Hunter, and he got stuffed. Jahad Campbell. And Hugh Freeze has a decision to make on 4th and goal from the 2.
And sometimes when you are going so fast and you're trying to rush to the line, you have to be mindful of the clock naturally, but you also have to make sure that everybody up front understands the assignment. That time, Rivaldo Fairweather and the left tackle, Dylan Wade, were just blocking together. Meanwhile, Jahad Campbell's right off the edge at 100 miles an hour and makes the play in the backfield.
So what now? If you're Auburn, you've mentioned their red zone struggles throughout the year. Where do they go?
I think you go for it here for sure. They've gone for it already earlier in the game. And I would probably, right hash is a little bit trickier, but I would get Peyton Thorne outside the pocket. I would see if I can get a run pass option with Peyton Thorne. And I'd try to work it to the right if I could, but if I have to go to the left, it's no problem.
Huge play here. Hunter, the running back, and a timeout called by Alabama.
Timeout
on defense.
Alabama. It is their second. It will be 30 seconds.
Or Kalen DeBoer, the 50-year-old South Dakota native. This is the 4th trip into the red zone for Auburn. Trying to put a 1 in that touchdown column.
Absolutely needing to pay this off too. I mean, short field defense has played great. 3 turnovers forced in the first half and not a lot to show for it. So this right here would be a huge boost to morale if Auburn can somehow pay this off on 4th and 2.
This could well be the biggest play of this Iron Bowl. Late substitution on defense. Jamarian Latham comes on for Alabama. Hunter, the running back. Peyton Thorne out of the gun. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down. Got stopped on a 4th and 4 in the red zone. Trying to draw them offside. They don't have a timeout to use. So they're either going to snap it or take a penalty. 2 seconds on the play clock. They take the delay of game. Wow.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Well, it looked like it was by design. And if I'm an Auburn player fan, I don't like that. You're on the 2-yard line. It's the Iron Bowl. Score a touchdown.
And Hugh Freeze earlier in the game already said field goals are not going to win this thing. Plus, you have a new field goal kicker. The ops has been slow already. Made one, missed one.
It's a surrender. It really is. I mean, you're on the 2-yard line.
I would have gone for it. I feel like that.
Very surprised. I know they struggled in the red zone. This is also no gimme either. 25 yards and good for Ian Bashan. There was a timeout called by Kalen DeBoer before the kick.
Timeout. Alabama. It is their 3rd. It'll be 30 seconds.
So Bashan will have to do it again. He never thought he'd be in the Iron Bowl. We mentioned it earlier. It was at Birmingham Southern as the backup kicker. Last year, he only kicked 2 field goals, made one of them. They dropped, not only did they drop football, they dropped the school. They went out of business. He went in the portal, said there wasn't a lot of activity for a Division III backup kicker.
Consecutive timeouts during one dead ball period.
So then give him the field goal. So anyway, he was a roofer. And they thought his career was over. Auburn needed depth at kicker. They called him in the summer. He came down as a walk-on, never thinking he'd kick in a game. But here he is in the Iron Bowl with a low-line drive from 25 yards. I still don't think if you're an Auburn player fan that feels like a win.
I would have trusted your outstanding running back to try to run it in there at some point. Running Peyton Thorne on 2nd down, I think, was the mistake. That's where I would have liked to have given Jarquez Hunter another crack at it. I mean, this is a guy that averages more than 4 yards per carry after contact. So even if he stacked up at the line of scrimmage, his strength and leverage could have potentially crossed the goal line. So for him to only get one real look down there is just not enough.
They understand he wants it to be a 1-score game. But as you said, Jarquez Hunter's their best player. Several of the coaches we've talked to around the SEC this year said he's the best running back in the league. He has 55 yards today on 10 carries. He's moved now into the top 4 all-time on Auburn's career rushing list. Moved past Ben Tate and Joe Cribbs. Now behind only Bo Jackson, Cadillac Williams, and James Brooks in that order on the all-time rushing list. As many great running backs as they've had at Auburn, he's had a tremendous career. Senior from Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's to hunt and fish and ride horses. Towns Magoo. A touchback. There's the All-State playoff predictor. It changes dramatically. This morning, before anybody played, Alabama's percentage to make the playoff was 23%. So they were looking for some help today. They really haven't gotten any.
And what you thought would help them would be Clemson losing to South Carolina. It's actually dropped their percentage points just a little bit more. So some surprising results in the noon window, and it didn't affect their chances.
Don't forget to go to ESPN.com/All-State Playoff Predictor to check out your team's chances to make the college football playoff. There's still hope for Alabama, but it must include a win for Kalen DeBoer's team today. 3 Alabama turnovers and only 2 field goals to show for Auburn. Here's Molly.
Coach, what has your defense done to challenge them in the red zone?
Yeah, I mean, making them earn it, not giving in. And so, a lot of execution is what it comes down to, but it's a mindset where it all starts.
Some critical drops and turnovers from your offense. How do you get that group into a rhythm and stay in a rhythm?
Yeah, that's the thing. We got some balls that would be in the end zone, and then turnovers are the big thing. So there's going to be physical mistakes, but got to be better. It's everyone. It's not just one person. So guys are competing, and we get the ball to start. So we'll get after it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Our score at halftime is Alabama 14 and Auburn 6. We'll send you to the studio for the Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Alabama trying to win it for the 5th year in a row, up 14-6 at the half, despite the fact that they were -3 in turnover margin in the first half. Matter of fact, you go back to last week against Oklahoma. That's back-to-back games for Alabama with 3 turnovers. That hasn't happened since 2006 against Auburn and Oklahoma State, last 2 games of the Mike Shula era. They didn't turn it over when Nick Saban was the coach, but they're getting away with it so far today.
Yeah, and I think it's really this whole first half was about situations. Alabama really good on 3rd down, really bad when it comes to turnovers. Auburn, conversely, really bad on 3rd down, really bad on red zone possessions and trying to pay those off with 6, but really good at forcing turnovers. So situationally got to clean a lot up in the second half.
Alabama will get it first. Kendrick Law back for the kickoff from Towns Magoo. Darkness descending upon Tuscaloosa, Alabama, with the temperature now in the high 40s. No breeze to speak of. And Magoo has another touchback. Here's Molly.
Well, Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze admitted that they had a lot of issues in the red zone and took a lot of the blame for that. He said that he misused tempo at times, had some of the wrong play calls in the red zone, and that led to their inability to score touchdowns. But he stressed that they're moving the ball well. They just need better execution and come away with points on every trip to the red area. But he said our defense has kept us in this game with those takeaways. Just need better execution in critical situations, guys.
3 trips into the red zone. And just the 2 field goals. Yardage just about even at the half. 2:22 Alabama, 2:04 Auburn. Here's Ryan Williams sidestepping. Jaron Thompson, and off to the races he goes. All the way out to midfield. The true freshman who is still just 17 years old. 24-yard gain.
And a good call by Nick Sheridan. Get the young man involved early. Watch the move. He's so slippery and quick. At 6'1", 175 pounds, but a little stronger than you realize, too. But just the second catch of the game here in the second half.
The catches have come down as the year's gone along. Jan Miller, the ball carrier. Hard to tell if that's the attention he's getting from defenses, if he's hit a little bit of a freshman wall, but he came in with just 7 catches total in the last 3 games. You can see the numbers there. Almost 93 receiving yards per game in the first 7. 39 in the last 4.
And the targets have come down as well. And his only catch today resulted in a fumble on the opening drive, so getting him back involved.
Jam Miller has a first down to the 39-yard line. Kensley Lador-Faustin, true freshman, backup defensive back out of Naples, Florida, made the tackle.
This would be a spot on 1st and 10. Might take a shot downfield.
Jeremy Bernard, a whiff on the tackle, leads to a lot of run after the catch. Jaron Thompson made the tackle after Kayan Lee did not. 13 yards.
Just an easy throw, couple very easy completions for Jalen Milroe to start the second half, and terrific run after catch by Jeremy Bernard.
Playing for his 3rd school in 3 years, Michigan State, Washington. And then he followed Kalen DeBoer from UW here to Alabama. 1-yard run for Jam Miller. Jason Jones made the tackle. I mean, numbers going up. Of course, last year he was basically the 4th option at receiver with a very talented group led by Rome Odunze, high first-round pick of the Chicago Bears. Also Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan, screen, C.J. Dupree down to the 10-yard line.
And this has become a theme where they are basically showing the tight end blocking initially and then releasing downfield. They did that twice and had great success. This time they show him blocking, he releases on a screen, there's plenty of room to run.
Jam Miller on 1st and goal from right around the 10. Jalen McLeod the tackle after a 3-yard pickup. Well, 6 catches today for Alabama tight ends, 2 each for Dupree, Josh Cuevas, and Robbie Boots. They came into today averaging 3 catches per game from their tight end group. So much more of a focus, the tight ends today. Justice Haynes back in at running back now. Milroe follows Haynes and goes down at the 2. Touchdown saving tackle by Kieron Crawford, playing his best football at the end of the year.
Very similar play that they had a big gain on 3rd and short. I think this is green light here for 3rd down and 4th down for Kalen DeBoer.
Justice Haynes to the goal line. Touchdown, Alabama. Seventh rushing touchdown of the season for Justice Haynes, the sophomore from Buford, Georgia.
And watch the center, Parker Brailsford, transfer from Washington. The nose guard works just to the right-hand side of him. He passes him off. He goes straight to the linebacker, and they follow him into the end zone. A terrific opening drive for the Crimson Tide.
And Graham Nicholson adds the extra point. They went 75 yards on the first possession of the second half, 9 plays. And Haynes the touchdown. 21-6 for Kalen DeBoer and the Tide. Kane Womack's defense played very well for Alabama. 17.5 points per game. 10th best in the country this year. Best for Crimson Tide defense since 2017. And they've been particularly stout today, put in some tough situations by the offense with 3 turnovers. And have yielded just 6 points on 2 field goals. Connor Talty's kickoff will be returned by Jeremiah Cobb. Auburn hoping for a big play on special teams. And Cobb marked out at the 25.
Let's take a look at coverage where it counts, presented by T-Mobile. It's all the different looks that Kane Womack's defense has thrown at Payne Thorne. Looks like pressure. They drop out. He's a little confused. Has to flush to his right. Throws one downfield where there's nobody home. And then they do bring the pressure. They showed it. Now they bring it. Gets a quick outlet. But Malachi Moore is sitting there waiting. This time, looks like it's coming from the left-hand side. No, it's not. Here it's coming from the right-hand side. Thorne thinks he's protected. He rolls into it. Has to throw it away again. It's been very confusing from Kane Womack for Payton Thorne.
First possession of the second half, and it doesn't start well. Thorne forced to throw it away on the pressure from Tim Keenan. Womack, the son of a coach, his dad, Dave. 35 years as a college coach. That's Dave in the middle. Including the end of his career, defensive coordinator at Ole Miss under Hugh Freeze. Where Kane Womack, and there's Dave, who's usually not far away from his son on the sideline. Kane Womack was a graduate assistant under Hugh Freeze.
Offense, number 72.
Well, a terrible start to the half for Auburn. Easy touchdown drive for Alabama. And loyalty on both sides in the Womack family. That's Dom Studzinski, who is the head strength coach at Auburn. And he is married to Kane Womack's sister, Haley. They all work together at Ole Miss under Hugh Freeze. Kane Womack and Hugh Freeze remain close friends. Thorne goes down. Tim Keenan again.
And more confusion, but this time it's really just the defensive line. The defensive tackle goes out, crushes the left tackle Dylan Wade. He loops back around, and Thorne can really do nothing as Keenan's waiting there for him. You could not draw up a better start for Kane Womack and this Alabama defense in the second half.
The Chronicle, they've played very well lately, including a shutout of Missouri in late October. They need a lot of run after the catch from Keandre Lambert-Smith. He gets out near the 19-yard line. So a 3 and out for Kane Womack's defense. And Greg, I go back to the end of the half when Hugh Freeze on 4th and goal from the 2 elected to take a penalty and make it a better angle for the kicker and kick a field goal. I wonder if some of the fight went out of his team with that decision.
Yeah, I think that was one where you kind of a message play. Like, all right, I trust you guys enough to go convert on 4th and 2, and him settling for the field goal might have had a reverberating effect.
Oscar Chapman punts. Clear, fair catch signal made there by Ryan Williams for a 42-yard punt. Time for the Aflac trivia question. This is the Iron Bowl. We want to know who's credited with naming this rivalry game the Iron Bowl. Do you know? You played in these. You started too as quarterback for Alabama.
I feel like I should know this, but I'm really, I'll say Paul Feinbaum.
That's as good a guess as anybody else. We saw the Bear Bryant hats. I don't know if that was a clue from our director, Scott Johnson. Our producer, Phil Dean. Jam Miller runs for about 6. I chuckled because Scott Johnson said in our ear, "I'm clueless," which sometimes the funniest thing said on the telecaster in our ears. Well, here's the answer to the Aflac trivia question. I hope they'll note in the truck that I did say Aflac again. Shug Jordan, legendary Auburn coach. Jam Miller, the ball carrier, when asked by a reporter how his team would deal with the disappointment not making a bowl game, Jordan's response was, "We have our own bowl game every year. It's the Iron Bowl." Got that due to the influence of the steel industry in Birmingham, where the game was played almost exclusively up until 1993. Sean, Greg, and Molly here in Tuscaloosa. This is only the 15th game all time of the 89 played here in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama. Milrose surrounded, got it off. Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard to the 24-yard line.
Well, everybody's going to look at the throw, but how about the protection from Jan Miller? Just going absolutely blasting the blitzing defender, Caleb Harris, off the right-hand side.
Jan Miller bounces off tackles. 26-yard play to Bernard. He's just a yard shy of a 100-yard receiving game. The Auburn would-be tackles treating him as if he was Jeremy. Justice Haynes back in at running back. The clock moving quickly here in this third quarter.
There's a big stand here, sequence for Auburn's defense. A touchdown here would really take the life out of the Auburn sideline.
Looks like some of that life has gone out of them already. Haynes slices 2 yards short of the first down. Another tackle for Caleb Harris. Chuck Jordan, by the way, won 9 Iron Bowls, most among all Auburn coaches. You won't be surprised to know that the most all-time, I'll give you a bonus Aflac trivia question. Winningest head coach in the Iron Bowl, either side.
I'll say Paul Bear Bryant.
Correct. 19-6. Most wins, most games coached. Milroe. Touchdown, Jalen Milroe. his third rushing touchdown of the day, and he reaches that 20 rushing touchdown mark where he joins illustrious company.
And just great design by Alabama. Justice Haynes becomes the fullback. He kicks out the end man in the line of scrimmage, and there's absolutely nothing Auburn can do on the edges of their defense when Jalen Milroe's hitting it a million miles an hour. Just great execution and design for the touchdown.
Graham Nicholson, the transfer from Miami, Ohio, adds the extra point. And Alabama with 2 touchdowns here in the third quarter has opened up a 22-point lead. 60 yards in 6 plays. Back their situation in the SEC because it was a non-conference game against Georgia Tech. They rallied from 17-0 down, won in 8 overtimes. By the way, how many timeouts do you get in the overtimes? 100? That's one thing they need to change. Connor Talty, the touchback. Here's the college football playoff rankings. A flag down here. Some activity after the whistle.
Going to be fascinating to see how far Ohio State falls. Probably outside of home field advantage. That'll be one thing worth watching on Tuesday.
Stunning. They just can't beat Michigan. Ryan Day, the thing that hangs around his neck.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, receiving team number 84. The penalty will be enforced half the distance from the touchback spot. First down, Auburn.
Micah Riley called for the penalty.
Number 84 is tough to find. It looks like it's kind of right here in the scrum. No look. Just pushes the Alabama player.
Stupid.
This doesn't make any sense. Really completely unnecessary.
Well, it's completely come apart for Auburn here in the third quarter. The total yards are 135 to -2. The points are 14 zip for Alabama. And Auburn is in a heap of trouble. And it continues. Malcolm Simmons a drop. These playoff rankings brought to you by Capital One. And now there is a skirmish. We'll get back to this. But there is a skirmish over behind the Auburn sideline. Devontae Smith at the center of it. And he's being led away by Xavier Brown. And now here they go again. Finally, some Alabama coaches running across the field to get their players out of there. That took quite a while. Devontae Smith, the most heated among those involved.
Really escalated quickly, too, because it looked like they were getting ready to disengage, and all of a sudden, chaos on the Auburn sideline.
Officials talking about it. We believe Keandre Lambert-Smith was the Auburn player at the center of it. It is rivalry week. It is the Iron Bowl, and emotions always run high.
The result of the play is an incomplete pass. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 13 and defense number 8. Only one of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties will be enforced. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down. That is both number 8 and number 13 unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as it counts towards disqualification.
Kalen DeBoer out beyond the numbers to voice his displeasure. Nobody on the Auburn side penalized here.
Just watch it here as number 8 up top above Keandre Lambert-Smith. That's Devontae Smith just continuing to go at it. And then Malachi Moore over there trying to get his player out of there. He gets stuck in the middle, engaged with another Auburn player, kind of by himself at that point.
I guess my question here to Bill Lamagna would be, is number 5 in white for Auburn guilty of anything, or you think they got that right based on what we've seen so far, Bill?
I think both players should have been involved in the penalty enforcements.
Yeah, number 5, Keandre Lambert-Smith, definitely held on for a long, long time.
It's time, too, to send a message through the captain saying you need to control your team, or they're going to cost in, and maybe it's going to result in a disqualification.
So they have Smith out of the game to the Alabama coaches trying to get him to calm down. Cam Coleman tackled by Deshaun Jones, who's in for Smith. And there was some woofing at the end of that. Cam Coleman again with a first down for Auburn. Well, we saw a skirmish at the end of the Ohio State-Michigan game after the game ended.
There's no love lost on rivalry week. There's no doubt. There's respect, but no love lost for certain.
Thorne have to have some points on the drive if you're Auburn. Scrambling away, runs a long way to get a few yards. He told us last year when he rushed for 85 yards, if you don't include the sack numbers, he felt like a running back. Said he was exhausted. Got 4 there. He also said that is the most painful loss he's ever had, the 4th and 31. He said no matter what happens, there'll never be another one as painful. Alabama racing to get somebody off the field, and Auburn couldn't snap it to the center judge, was letting him finish the substitution. Hunter is buried by Jahad Campbell.
At this point, too, with Auburn kind of in a desperation situation, you think you got to be thinking 4 downs more than likely if you're Hugh Freeze. So you don't have to get it all right here, but like to find a matchup with Cam Coleman if possible. He's been a little quiet today, but he's been a big physical target all game long. I'd be looking in this direction if I can get a one-on-one.
Under 5 to go, third quarter. 28-6 Alabama. Thorne on his back foot down the sideline and caught. Rivaldo Fairweather took a hit from Damani Jackson and held on. And the Tigers have a first down at the Crimson Tide 40 after an 18-yard completion.
That was a big collision, and Rivaldo Fairweather did an amazing job of hanging on as Damani Jackson delivered the blow.
Hunter, the running back. The score has taken him out of the game largely. Thorne waving receivers around and runs out of bounds.
Alabama and Kane Womack have been really aggressive here throughout the first 2.5 quarters with different looks and pressures and blitzes. Now they're playing kind of soft. They're trying to keep things in front of them a little bit. And as a result, Auburn's offense is finding a little rhythm. So let's see if Womack flips the script and gets back to being more aggressive.
Thorne changing the play. The play clock down to 1. Hunter collared, but he got enough for the first down. Jordan Renaud in on the stop. Thorne not sure if he wants to coach. He is, as we said, the son of a coach, very successful coach. His dad won a D3 national championship at North Central College in Illinois. There's his dad, sunglasses on his hat. Mom Joanna, dad Jeff. Jeff's dad John preceded him as the head coach at North Central. Won 118 games, and he's in that school's Hall of Fame. Payton would like to try to play professionally if he can. He's in trouble. And throws it away. They want a grounding call. Malachi Moore came. Malachi Moore came on the safety blitz.
And that's the pressure look from Kane Womack, who was passive those first few downs of this drive. As a result, the offense found some rhythm and some success there on 1st and 10. He blitzes Malachi Moore off the edge, accelerates the process, and the result is an incompletion.
The 5th time today, Peyton Thorns had to throw one away under pressure. One of those was on 4th down in the first half. This is 2nd and 10.
Another pressure look from Alabama. 2 linebackers walked up.
And the play clock is run out.
Prior to the delay of game, timeout, Auburn. It's their first.
And it comes with 2:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. Alabama in control at the moment. It's the Iron Bowl. The first for Kalen DeBoer as head coach of the Tide. 10th play of this drive for Auburn. They're down 28-6 with 2:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. They're at the Alabama 29. Started at their own 13-yard line. Battled poor field position a lot of the night. They have a receiver wide open. Cam Coleman has an Auburn touchdown. He got behind Xavier Brown for a 29-yard score.
Said a moment ago that Cam Coleman needed to get some looks. It's been a little quiet. This time he fakes like he's going to run the out and up. There's absolutely nothing Xavier Brown could do. Playing soft, eyes in the backfield, think he's going to throw the out route underneath, goes right by him for a massive touchdown.
They're going to go for 2 to try to make it a 14-point game. Go for Dose, brought to you by Dos Equis. Had to have it, they got it. 87 yards in 10 plays. Peyton Thorne trying to get the attention of some teammates. Camden Brown, particular, run motion wide right. Play clock running down again. And they get the 2 on the handoff to Jarquez Hunter. Even that looked like a fire drill, scrambling around, the play clock about to expire. One thing Hugh Freeze has said all season long, particularly during the 2-5 start, his team has played hard all year. And they're fighting to the finish again today.
Just a thing of beauty, finding the true freshman, high pointing the football. It's behind the defense and a great catch. Finally takes advantage of some one-on-one. It's a little chirpy, and then Auburn fans have to be wondering, had they just handed it to Hunter at the end of the first half from the 2-yard line, maybe this would have happened. They do it there for the 2-point conversion to make it a 2-score game. Massive answer for Peyton Thorne and the Tigers.
Thorne's 21st touchdown pass of the year, the 8th touchdown reception for Coleman. 6 of those have come in the last 3 games. Kendrick Law and Emmanuel Henderson Jr. back for the kickoff from Towns Magoo. Line drive kickoff. Law caught it at the 4. Has some room outside. And crossed the 30. There is a flag down back at the 21. Far side of the field. The official just moved it to the 20, and the indication is it's a hold against Alabama.
The return. Holding. Number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Alabama.
Danny Lewis Jr. called for the penalty. Here's Kevin. Win sends the Canes to the ACC title game against SMU. If they lose, Clemson takes on SMU. Jam Miller out across the 15. You would think, obviously, the situation Alabama's in, about a 20% chance right now in the All-State playoff predictor to make the playoff. Any loss by a team ahead of them would help. So the Bama fans cheering for Syracuse.
Yeah, cheering for chaos everywhere. I think if you're an Alabama fan, just
not getting enough of it today. From their vantage point, Tennessee fell behind early at Vanderbilt, but came back to win. Over the middle, very close to the first down, is Josh Cuevas. He's marked down just short. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Alabama players haven't given up the hope of making it to the 12-team playoff. Their message this week is we still have a chance. Malachi Moore said, I don't care if it's a 2% chance. It's a chance. We're still going to keep fighting.
Jam Miller gets the first down. Isaiah Rakes made the tackle. A big first down. Running clock with a 2-touchdown lead as we're approaching 16 minutes to go.
Alabama's been pretty good in the second half, controlling the line of scrimmage and establishing the run.
One minute to go. Third quarter. Auburn showing blitz, and they bring it from the corner. Keldrick Falk, another tackle for a loss as he threw down Jam Miller. Loss of 4.
And this is a great job by Falk, working against the All-American Tyler Booker. Booker just a little bit too far out to his left. Falk slips inside and tackles Miller behind the line of scrimmage. That's a big-time matchup won by Falk.
Yes, DJ Durkin, who's had a good year for your defense. Falk was the first name out of his mouth, along with Jalen McLeod. Alabama will have to snap it one more time here in the third quarter. Milroe sidestepped the rush and runs out of bounds. Got away from Eugene Asante. 7-yard gain. And that gets us to the end of the third quarter with Alabama leading the Iron Bowl 28-14. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching Rivalry Week, presented by Fairfield by Marriott.
Game getting a little emotional and chippy. What do you need to see from your team in this final quarter?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one play over there, and it goes both ways. But we just need to settle in here, and the next couple of possessions are going to be big, both sides of the ball.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a momentary blip. The teams have calmed back down as we go to the fourth quarter. Alabama leading 28-14, looking at third down and 7. Their own 24. The receiver stumbled. Ryan Williams still made the catch and gets the first down. Looked like he was about to fall down. Sylvester Smith made the play for Auburn, but not before Williams moved the chains.
What a play, though, by Williams. I mean, he's going to the ground, puts his left hand behind himself, catches himself, somehow is strong enough to get back up, secure the catch, turn upfield for the yards after catch for a critical 3rd and 7 conversion.
I'm not exactly sure what Caleb Wooden was doing for Auburn there after the play, grabbing Williams by the leg and twisting him around.
Expect Alabama to continue to lean on the ground and pound. That offensive line starting to settle in.
They are killing clock. They've taken over 3 minutes off the clock on this possession. Jam Miller, the ball carrier again. Jalen Milroe, 3 rushing touchdowns. First player on either side to do that in an Iron Bowl since Sean Alexander of Alabama had 3 in 1999. A game won by the Tide at Auburn, 28-17. For the most part, it's been the very good Jalen Milroe today. A couple of turnovers, the blemish. Designed run for him. And it's Caleb Wooden again. A little extra shove along the sideline.
3rd and 2 now. Alabama's gone to a very similar play 2 times now. Once for a big conversion, once for a touchdown. They fake it to the running back. he becomes the lead blocker, and Jalen Milroe follows that running back right to the hole. Let's see if they go to the well a third time against DJ Durkin's defense,
which has watched Alabama convert on its last 6 third downs. A clock killing operation on third down. Play action pass. Milroe being chased by McLeod, and he goes down short of the first down. The ball comes out, and Auburn has it. Falk recovered the fumble.
What a massive play for Auburn. Looked like Milroe was going to have enough, but it's not. It's McLeod who is able to get his right arm in there and dislodge the football. It bounces forward before another Auburn Tiger is there to pounce on it. Another example of poor ball security there for Jalen Milroe. That's his 3rd turnover of the day, his 6th in the last 2 weeks. DJ Durkin has to love the play by his outstanding senior linebacker, Jalen McLeod.
They're going to take a look at it, or are they? They're holding. No question apparently in the replay booth as to whether or not Milroe was down. So there's life on the Tiger sideline. 12:45 to go, down by 14. They take over at the 49, and Jarquez Hunter driven back by Justin Jefferson, who has seen the bulk of the action today in the absence of Deontay Lawson. Jefferson wearing the green dot on his helmet as well. The communication from Kane Womack. They had faith he'd be able to do the job. Thorn out wide. Keandre Lambert-Smith waves his way down to the 30-yard line. Deshaun Jones the tackle. 17, and all of a sudden palpable anxiety in the stadium.
And this soft coverage from Alabama has been a little bit of a problem the last couple series for the Tide. It's a missed tackle on the outside and plenty of run after catch for Lambert-Smith.
Tim Keenan is the injured Alabama player. Tim Keenan off the field over to the sideline. He's now getting back on his feet. Middle of that defensive front without its starter. Auburn on the move. 12 minutes to go after the 4th Alabama turnover. Peyton Thorne has him 1st and 10. They're at the Crimson Tide 30. This is a double pass. Hunter fires into a crowd. Intercepted. Picked off by Bray Hubbard. They went into the bag of tricks, and Alabama was not fooled. Hunter threw it into a crowd. There is a flag down after the play.
And this play is really made by Jahad Campbell. He sees it immediately. Watch how quickly he reacts. Goes and takes off, forces Jarquez Hunter to throw it early. Bad decision.
Conduct, intercepting team number 2. The unsportsmanlike conduct penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. That is number 2's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as it counts towards disqualification.
Xavier Brown. Of course, Hunter's a running back. Doesn't have to make that kind of a decision very often, but if he had to do it over again, Greg, that one needed to be thrown somewhere else.
Throw it 30 rows into the stands. You just can't take an unnecessary risk right there. Dump it, live to play the next down. But just a critical error from the senior. Not known for his throwing, they're known a lot more for his running, and a big mistake.
Well, a team that killed itself early in the year with turnovers played turnover-free ball for Coach Freeze today. That is their first. They're still +3 for the day. After the penalty, back inside their own 3, Justice Haynes. Last time Alabama turned it over 4 times in the game was 2022 against Texas A&M, which was Jalen Milroe's first start, his only start of that season. They still managed to win 24-20.
Wild game too, all the way down to the finish, and Alabama just on a terrible run of turnovers these last couple weeks.
Cost them dearly last week at Oklahoma against the 5-5 Oklahoma team. Milroe brought down at the 3. Zykevius Walker there for a 4-yard loss.
Big down here for the Auburn defense. Offense makes a critical mistake after the turnover. They turn it back over. And now DJ Durkin, and a chance to get the ball back to his offense around midfield. Let's see if they decide to heat up Jalen Milroe here.
Milroe using as much time as he can with a 2-touchdown lead under 10.5 to go. Out of the end zone, lots of contact, flags thrown. DJ Durkin signaling to the officials he thought that ball was uncatchable. It's Keontae Scott in coverage.
Pass interference, defense number 0. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. The result of the penalty is a first down.
An enormous penalty. Jeremy Bernard, the intended receiver.
And it looked like Keontae Scott is so physical all the way through, and that ball's absolutely catchable, but Keontae Scott so firm with the contact against Jeremy Bernard, he almost forces him out of bounds. It's an easy call for the official, and a big break for the Crimson Tide.
Jeremy Bernard's had a career day. His 99 receiving yards, a career high. At 98 last year for Washington in a game against Arizona. Jim Miller driven back by Austin Keys. With a fresh set of downs for Alabama off the penalty.
Got to continue to lean on the run game for Kalen DeBoer and favor the left side of that offensive line. You have 2 All-Americans and Tyler Booker and Caden Proctor, your left guard and left tackle respectively. You're going to run it in their direction. Let them win you the game.
Tyler Booker, the terrific left guard's a junior, but Kalen DeBoer thinks that this is likely his last season. Very highly rated by the NFL people. As is the center, Parker Brailsford, who Mel Kiper has rated as the 4th best center in the country. Jared Wilson of Georgia, Jonah Monheim, USC, and Drew Kendall from Boston College. BC legacy. His dad, Pete, a terrific player for the Eagles and a long NFL career. Milroe, nice catch. And that gets Bernard over 100 yards receiving for the first time in his career with a 10-yard gain. And another Alabama first down.
And just a beautiful route by Jeremy Bernard. Look at how he sets up the defender. That's an option route. He can run to the inside. He can run vertical. He can sit it down, or he can break it to the outside. You saw that shimmy at the top of the stem. He breaks it to the sideline. Milroe knows exactly where he's going. And he's now reeled in a career-high 109 receiving yards in his first career Iron Bowl.
C.J. Dupree, the big tight end, rumbles across midfield. Caleb Harris chopped him down. There's a flag at the 40-yard line, far sideline, and they're walking back.
I think they're going to get Jeremy Bernard, a receiver on the outside, for a hold.
Holding, offense number 5. The 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Remains first down.
Jeremy Bernard engaged with the defender up at the top right there. And as Dupree works back to the inside, you can see that right hand holding on just a little bit too long from the progressive pylon cam. And a good call by the official, but since it was so far downfield, it'll be 1st and 8 now after the penalty.
Auburn brings a blitz. Milroe breaks tackles and runs out of bounds with another Crimson Tide first down.
This was a big collision Off the right-hand side, looked like Sylvester Smith was going to take out Kendrick Law. Milroe at the last second decides to pull it, makes a couple guys miss, and gets to the outside. That was a great decision by Jalen Milroe on the jet sweep read, because had he handed it off, it would have been a massive blow-up in the backfield.
3 yards shy of another 100-yard rushing game. Patient run by Jan Miller. He got stood up at the 50. But they're running plenty of clock. This drive approaching 5 minutes long. It will be by the time they snap it next. Dorian Mausi, the transfer from Duke, made the tackle for the Tigers.
I think the big communication point, if you're Alabama, no need to be in a hurry and double over the football. Auburn's doing a good job of swiping at it today.
Miller stopped short of the first down. Philip Leedy, the tackle, transfer from Indiana.
Last time on third short, they opted to go under center play action. I don't think we're going to see that play again from the Crimson Tide. You know where this ball's going. It's going to be a run play, likely right to the left tackle or the left guard for Nick Sheridan, the offensive coordinator.
He's already had a good day. His alma mater, Michigan, with the big win at Ohio State. Nick was a walk-on quarterback for the Wolverines, later put on scholarship. Milroe. That'll get him over 100. And they continue to run out the clock.
Yeah, he knows where his help is. He knows where his big bodies are. That's on the left side of the offensive line. Watch him just wash everything down, putting Auburn defenders on their back, and Milroe goes right behind him for another big 3rd and short conversion. Look at 2 hands on the football, too. Told you a moment ago, double over the football, 2 hands at all times. And don't let Auburn punch it out.
Isaiah Rakes is down. Crowd doesn't like it. Timeout with 5:34 to go. 9 yards of the missed field goal on the final play of the game as Auburn won 34-28. $5:21 to go. Jalen Milroe has his 3rd career game of 250 plus yards passing and 100 or more rushing. Last year, in the 4th and 31 victory at Auburn. This year in the mammoth game he had against Georgia. Jam Miller stumbles down for a loss. There's been only one other 250 and 100 game in Alabama history, and was not, to my surprise, Greg McElroy.
Might have had negative 100 rushing.
Jalen Hurts in 2016 against Mississippi State.
I remember that game. That was a heck of a game. I would thought maybe Jalen be the most likely candidate, but maybe there'd be one back in the day, like Stedman Shealy or someone like that. Tyler Watts, perhaps.
And Stedman Shealy, good blast from the past. When Milroe ran for 185 at LSU. Here's Miller. There's the most by a Bama quarterback since Stedman Shealy. Went for 190 against Mississippi State way back in 1979. You weren't even born. Auburn uses a timeout. 1 left for Hugh Freeze.
Take a look at the AT&T connected cam, and this is the 3rd down play that Alabama has run with great success. They just run that running back right across the formation. He becomes the fullback essentially. Same play here, 3rd down and 2, 3rd down and 3. They changed the blocking responsibility just ever so slightly there, and it's led to really big gains. I would go with the exact same play here. If I'm Alabama, I hold it in my quarterback's hands. Don't take any unnecessary risk through the air. I'd run that exact same play and see if Auburn can find a way to stop it.
This drive has taken more than 7.5 minutes off the clock. 7:33. More than half the quarter. Jeremy Bernard, very little there. Keontae Scott the tackle. And another timeout called by Auburn.
Timeout. Auburn. This is their third. It will be 30 seconds.
Leading against Miami with about 2 minutes to go up at JMA Wireless Dome. It's the second Alabama punt, and it's executed to perfection by James Burnip and the coverage team. Emmanuel Henderson Jr. 38-yard punt. So Alabama leading by 2 touchdowns, looking in good shape to win their 5th straight Iron Bowl, and then they'll have to wait and see what happens. You know, what you would think that would help a lot. Should Miami lose,
yeah,
we shall see.
Well, especially with Clemson losing now. If Clemson's now in the ACC championship game, and then SMU, if they beat SMU, would that be potentially enough to knock SMU behind a 3-loss?
I think the thing that would help Alabama most is Clemson goes to the championship game. SMU beats them. SMU's clearly, they'd have the automatic bid. Then you'd have a 4-loss Clemson team and a 2-loss Miami team should they lose at Syracuse today. And then the question, at least head-to-head, right, becomes, is a 3-loss Alabama team more worthy than a 2-loss Miami team? Now, certainly Alabama has much better wins.
Yeah, I think that would be the big question mark, of course.
That game's not over, nor is this one. The ball is out. It's an incomplete pass intended for Rivaldo Fairweather. Damani Jackson knocked it out. So out to the 14-yard line. Auburn on the 11-yard completion to Cam Coleman. And his 6th catch of the day. They're running out of time, the Tigers. 3:33 to go. Down by 14. Some twisting in front. They got in front of Thorne. He escaped. Now he's across the line. Gets a block from Keandre Lambert-Smith. And slides down short of the first down. James Smith looked like he had a chance to get Thorne behind the line of scrimmage and did not. It turned out to be an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, they need to get the 3rd down here and then start taking some time. I mean, taking some chunks. I mean, it's a 2-score game, and you're around 3 minutes now. I mean, you got to increase the urgency if you get the 1st down here.
Crowd roared. They thought Thorne handed it off, but he did not. And he carries for a 1st down.
Now you got to hustle, and you got to start getting some chunk yardage. Hugh Freeze, I understand Peyton Thorne's been smart and methodical today, but he's got to take some chances downfield.
The only turnover was an interception thrown by the running back, Jarquez Hunter. Thorne again avoids the sack. Throws deep, and it's intercepted. Fairweather was open, but the ball hung in the air, and it's picked off by Zabian Brown. Is going to clinch the Iron Bowl for the 5th year in a row for Alabama.
And just a great job by Zabian Brown. If you look at it, looked like there was going to be a chance downfield. I mean, you stop it right there, and Zabian Brown is kind of stuck between 2 wide receivers. Instead, he's able to read the throw, turn and reverse course, and intercept the underthrown deep ball. If that ball's thrown faster, more on the line, or more over the top, it's probably going to be a completion and a decent chunk gain for Auburn, but an errant throw, bad throw, and a great defensive play essentially puts this game on ice.
2nd interception by Zabian Brown, and a hug for Peyton Thorne, who's probably played his last down as an Auburn Tiger. And there are some of their fans who think that's probably an appropriate ending. Well, you and I have seen a lot of Peyton Thorne games at Michigan State and here. I will say this. He battles his rear end off.
Yeah, he does. I have a ton of respect for him.
I do too.
And he's weathered the storm, and it's been challenging, and he's been at times the recipient of almost all the criticism. And it's not exclusively on the quarterback. It never is. But when it rains, it pours. It's been very hard on Peyton Thorne this year.
In that juncture, down by 2 touchdowns this late, you have to take some chances. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Win the Iron Bowl. And up in Syracuse, Miami just lost 42-38 to the Orange. 9-3 year for Fran Brown in his first year as head coach at Syracuse. So you would think that would help. And Miami's one of those teams now they'll have to sweat it out. They're not going to the ACC championship game. Clemson will take on SMU. And I just don't know where the wins are for Miami.
That's the challenge. I mean, their best win theoretically might be a Florida team that's finishing remarkably strong. But outside of that, Louisville's a decent win. They took care of Kentucky today, but had nothing that would be considered show-stopping as far as a resume builder.
And that Florida team was a different team at the beginning of the year when Miami played them. It was a disaster. Of course, the case for Alabama, head-to-head really against anybody. The quality of their wins. Win against Georgia. The 4th game of the year. A win against South Carolina, a team that's making a case to be in the CFP. They won convincingly at LSU. But if they don't make it, that loss last week at Oklahoma will stick with them for a long time.
Yeah, I think that one and then the Vanderbilt loss. I mean, 2 losses that are almost hard to comprehend given the way those teams have played most of the year.
And I think that's the argument. Losing the teams that have 5 or 6 losses. So the Milroe family celebrating. It'll be the 9th win. Kalen DeBoer, for all the heat he's taken, will match the most wins in the first year of any Alabama coach. You have to go way back to 1931. And he becomes just the 6th coach on either side since they started playing every year in 1948 to win in his first Iron Bowl. Red Drew, Gene Stallings, Dennis Franchione the last. And only 2 Auburn coaches, Terry Bowden and Gus Malzahn, who made news today, leaving the head coaching job at UCF to go to Florida State as the offensive coordinator. You know, the folks here don't want him. There are a lot of schools around the country that love to have Kalen DeBoer.
I think he's excellent. I think he's a terrific head coach, and he'll find his footing. There's no doubt about it. He's too good of a coach and has accomplished way too much in his career not to have success in a place that has had success for a very long time.
James Burnett punts it away. Malcolm Simmons back deep. And he must have punts. And he got back on it. The snapper Nealon Hibbett right there. Nealon Hibbett. 54th straight start as the snapper. He wanted to have a highlight. In his last home game came here as a walk-on. They put him on scholarship during fall camp. Underappreciated player on a team. When you have a snapper who never has a problem, you don't ignore. You don't recognize him.
It's not often when you don't want the play-by-play announcer to say the snapper's name very often, unless it's a real positive
tackle or a fumble recoveries. That almost was.
Or especially if they have trouble with the snap, you would never want that either. As you know,
I don't know who would say that as an announcer. Thorne, Coleman runs out of bounds. Then we should point out that this is the first Iron Bowl on ABC since 1994. What a treat for all of us. Honored to be a part of this rivalry. Of course, for many years on CBS. The last time was on ABC, the great Keith Jackson, the GOAT, with Bob Greasy and Lynn Swann. I had the honor of calling what many believe is the greatest rivalry in college football. Certainly people in this state believe it is. Lambert Smith out of bounds, so no bowl game for Auburn. They'll finish 5-7, but the future is bright with a lot of talent, a lot more talent on its way.
Yeah, I think Hugh Freeze done a great job recruiting so far. Now avoiding the self-inflicted mistakes and learning how to win. That's the next step for them, and it's unfortunate they won't get those 15 bowl practices to develop some of those young players.
Lambert Smith runs out of bounds. And as Hugh Freeze said, you'd like to go back to the beginning of the year. 5 turnovers against Cal, a game they lost by a touchdown. 5 against Arkansas, game they lost by 10 points. Only 1 against Oklahoma, but it was a late run back for a score by the Sooners. This season could have been a lot different. And Peyton Thorne has taken a lot of the heat, some of it from his own coach. His last throw goes to Lambert Smith, who's out of bounds short of the end zone. And that's it. Kalen DeBoer, a winner in his first Iron Bowl. And that's 5 straight for the Tide, their longest since they won 9 in a row under Bear Bryant back in the 70s to 1981. Milroe 256 passing and 104 rushing, and he ran for 3 touchdowns. Tom Studzinski, the strength coach for Auburn, with a hug for Kalen DeBoer. And Jalen Milroe, but very well might be his last home game. If it is, he goes out with a bang, and he's with Molly.
Jalen, over 250 passing yards, over 100 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. How were you able to overcome some early mistakes and find so much success here tonight?
Coach talks about going 1-0. You don't know when the opportunity is to go 1-0. It's all about having an open mindset, a growth mindset, and continue to go 1-0. I think that's so important for any player to have a growth mindset and have an optimistic mindset as well. Something good is about to happen. And I have great teammates, great coaches that continues to be on my side throughout the whole game. And so they made it easy. It's all about executing the job at hand, which is to get a win.
Speaking of which, a huge bounce-back game for your offense after a tough week last week. What kind of statement did you want to make about yourself and this offense in this one?
I think the cliche thing is go 1-0, right? Learn and reflect on what we did not do right and execute this week. It's all about mastering the game plan, mastering how we can get better as a group so that we can collectively be our best us.
This team's 5th straight Iron Bowl win. Congratulations on that. And the message all week has been we still have a chance to make it into the playoff. I know it's out of your hands, but why could this be a playoff team?
There's a grit and determination of this group, you know. The normal thing when pressure comes is to fold and to give up. But we have guys in the locker room that constantly just want to be better, constantly love the guys in the room. And so I think that's the best thing about this group, is that we love each other. We appreciate each other so much.
Congratulations on the win, Jalen.
Thank you. Roll Tide!
Well, a little bit of the good and bad, but more good than bad today from Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, a lot of great moments with him carrying the football early in the game, really leaning on the run game and allowing this offensive line to settle in and start to establish the ground and pound. A bunch of 3rd down conversions with his legs as well. This one a touchdown on the 3rd and 3, and he did a really good job of bouncing back from some mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes can fester. He didn't allow it. He moved forward and made the plays necessary to win.
And now they sit and wait. The odds are still slim. It's not computers that'll sit in the room. It's human beings that will determine the field of 12. Final score, Alabama 28, Auburn 14. For Greg and Molly, our great crew, Sean McDonough, so long from Tuscaloosa.